You found your way to the podcast for Merge, the blog about design and entrepreneurship. I'm Doug Powell, curator of Merge, and I'm joined today by Terry Anderson. Terry is co-founder of Tiny Wonders Studio, a developer of iPhone apps. The inaugural product launch for Tiny Wonder was Pixie, blends the intoxicating qualities of a lava lamp with Spirograph, the childhood game that many designers will have fond memories of. The development of iPhone apps has taken on a mythical quality in recent months with stories of instant fame and riches, but I wanted to get a sense of what the reality of this product development process really is. I started our conversation by asking Terry to talk about the development of the initial concept for Pixie.
Well, the way this unfolded is Lawrence Bricker, who's one of the principals at Popular Front, an interactive agency, he and I have been friends for many years, 25 years maybe, and we've worked together on projects over the years. I guess it was in July of this summer we decided that we were going to do something together. We wanted to work on products as opposed to client-based projects together. So we came together with an agreement with Popular Front, his agency. We were funded for a 6-month period by Popular Front, and our charter was to develop ideas that could be brought to the market as products. So we went into this process, with sort of an inkling that it would be iPhone apps, but that wasn't set in stone either. We went through a fairly extensive process of figuring out what it was we wanted to put our energy towards. We did very quickly, though, by mid-August, decide that it was going to be iPhone based. We began generating, the volume of ideas. I believe we got to about the end of September, where we came up with a formal plan, which was, let's develop one application which doesn't seem to be too far-reaching. Develop a simple idea and just find out how hard it is to get an iPhone app actually developed. What's the process look like? How difficult is it to get into the App Store? All of these steps needed to be figured out before we had an idea whether this was going to be a viable marketplace.
So Pixie was something of a test project in a way for you guys to go through the process, to learn the ropes, to see what some of the challenges would be without having a project that was so complex and so overwhelming that the release of it was really in jeopardy.
Yeah, absolutely. And try to identify all the X factors. For instance, what sort of marketing is going to be involved? Is it going to be completely promoted through blog reviews and social networking, sort of word of mouth aspects, or would we actually have to put a marketing budget into place? And so what we did, of course, is we started out to create this simple little handheld, multi-touch Spirograph toy. And then in the process of developing it, we sort of fell in love with it and started adding more and more functionality. So it actually turned out to be something bigger than what we had anticipated going into it. But yes, very much sort of a test market attempt to see what it was going to take to get something out there.
And with that in mind, what were some of the things that you learned? What would you do differently next time around?
Well, there's things about the product that we would probably do differently, and are in the process of actually changing. We feel that we maybe need to make it a little bit more accessible. The attention span of the audience seems to be, at least based upon the apps that they buy, seems to be towards, sort of not immersive experiences, but sort of quick joke-like things, fart generators, etc. We went into the process, Doug, also thinking that our target audience was a little bit older than what I think it actually turned out to be. We used the best sort of demographic numbers we could find based on iPhone ownership. And what we did find out is that we think the audience skews younger, almost high school age, young college age. And I think we would have made some decisions about what product we developed first, based on knowing that.
Do you think that there's do you think that your numbers were off, or do you think that that in fact the iPhone owners, that there's a subset that are really buying the majority of the apps? I mean, is there a subtle distinction there?
I think both of those things are true. I mean, the numbers we had indicated virtually nobody under the age of 18 owned an iPhone as of September, October, something like that. And I think you're right. I think that the people that are buying iPhone apps are a subset of the larger universe of iPhone owners. I also think, and this is empirical information, but it seems as if a lot of iPod touches were given as gifts at Christmas time, which I think skewed the audience younger. And I also think that, anecdotally, I've heard that a lot of younger people have been getting iPhones now, and I think that sort of happened again over the holiday season.
Right. Where do you see the trend going? I mean, this is really, I think you could make the argument that that we're kind of hitting, I don't know whether you would call it saturation point by any means, but early saturation point. The days of the guy developing an app in his basement and making $1 million off of it, may have passed. Is the way that these products are developed changing now, even as we speak?
Well, I think so. I mean, the numbers I've heard is that there's 30,000 apps available on the store now. Anybody that's, I think, spent any time trying to find things has found the if you want to call it a shopping experience, to be difficult. There's categories. So, it's a music app. You can look in the music category, and you're sorting through thousands of potential products. You have big players coming into the market now. Electronic Arts has put out a lot of titles. They put a lot of the Hasbro recognizable games out there. I think a few things have to happen. I think Apple needs to probably learn its way around retailing a little bit if you want to look at iTunes as a retail venue. I think that the music side of iTunes is maybe a little bit more manageable, and that's largely because you have existing sort of marketing efforts happening on the music side. You also have recognizable artists, back catalogs, etc. I think on the app side, we'd like to see Apple maybe make it easier for people to find apps that aren't in the top 100, for instance. But yeah, I think in general we're going to be looking at more planning, more significant marketing plans, marketing budgets moving forward.
That's Terry Anderson of iPhone app developer Tiny Wonders Studio. In part 2 of our conversation, Terry and I will talk about what's next for iPhone app development, as well as the challenges of business planning for this fast-paced category. Thanks for listening to the podcast of Merge.